Hi guys, welcome to Pax Europiana, the podcast about peace in Europe. Again from Schönbrunn, this wonderful palace of peace, erected after the peace treaty of Karlowitz actually, yes. And it's about the symbol of peace in Europe. Some might say of victory against the Turks. Anyhow, I want to give a message of peace and talk about the Cypriot issue, because this is one of the open issues in Europe, and I would like to discuss how to make peace in this wonderful island. It's divided, and that's wrong, and it should be united. It should live in peace and in harmony between the various groups that live in that beautiful island. Now, in 2021, there is a new effort to make peace. Geneva talks by the UN are now relaunched because Biden is the president. There's new dynamic in the world, and America is back. So question is, should really will this be successful? And also my question is, why is the UN involved? I know historically the reasons in 75 and all these things, but there's many things for the UN to do in Myanmar, in Sudan, in Syria. There's many global conflicts. And the question is, this conflict in Cyprus is very much an intra-European affair. It's the Turkey, it's a NATO ally, it's a EU candidate country, possibly a frozen one, but it is. It's also a very strong, important partner of Europe. It's Greece as NATO and EU member. It's the United States involved. It's the United Kingdom involved, the European Union, because Cyprus is an ally, obviously, a member of the European Union. So question is, why we need the UN? If you have the answer, I would be interested. Because the UN is an organization where also Russia and China have obviously a lot to say, and the whole world is then basically involved. And I see basically this is a European issue, and there's a NATO issue, because it's basically a proxy war between Turkey and Greece about these islands, and that's since '74, since the invasion. And now my question is, wouldn't it be much more rational to have these negotiations in Brussels, led by the NATO and by EU and by the Americans and the Europeans together? Is that not the logical way to solve such an intra-European question? I think yes. We should really be very clear about that. We don't need the Chinese and the Russians in Cyprus in any form. They can invest, they can park their money, they can build some infrastructure, that's all fine, and buy some holiday houses and maybe buy some passports. That's less fine, basically. I'm against passport buying. I think it's enough to attach the residence to property investment. So, but what I think is, when this Cyprus issue is basically a European affair, then also the settlement is much more easier. Because it's logical, the future of Cyprus is in NATO, and then also the Turkish Cypriots are living in security and safety if they are afraid. And obviously it's in a federal situation, and that Cyprus is basically repeating the success model of the German reunification. That's the role model for Cyprus and nothing else. And the way Mr. Genscher has argued famously that Cyprus can join as the Western German state has joined the European Union and NATO, the same German role model which has led to the Cypriot EU accession in 2004 is valid also for reunification, but obviously as a federal state. And here it's important not to have this kind of confused idea of two entities forming one federation, but of a real federal state like Germany, like the United States of America, like Austria, where I'm talking here. We have 9 federal states forming a federal union, and that's the reasonable thing to do. That means we have possible 4 federal states in the south, 3 in the north, or 4 possible, and 1 Nicosia, obviously. That's my proposal. So it's Famagusta and Kyrenia and the north of Nicosia district. They should be federal states for the Northern Republic, what is now the Northern Republic. And there should be no entities in a sense, like we have it in Bosnia. That's all very wrong. Yeah? They can anyhow then work together in a second chamber, like the US Senate, and that's the way to peace, in my view. And additionally, obviously, like in the Eastern Germans, the North is then joining immediately NATO, immediately the EU, immediately the Euro. And that's very attractive. And they will live in peace and in harmony. And if there's no harmony, then there's the police to ensure that. And so everybody in the EU lives in security, I think, and with all the rights of a European citizens. And that's what is on offer. If they are member, if they really do kind of joining Turkey or own statelet, which nobody recognizes, which is de facto the situation today, they will never be in the European Union in that sense. And I think it's very attractive for the citizens of this Turkish part of the northern Cyprus. They're occupied, I say occupied, yes. They should be also, I think, appreciate this kind of offer, in my view. And that's, I think, the European role model for solving the Cypriot issue. Austrian-style federalism, or German-style, or American-style, with some variations, obviously, and get some German constitutional lawyers down there, meet in Brussels, and everybody in NATO, and in the Euro, and obviously in the EU, in Cyprus is already, and so that's quite simple. Why we don't need the UN? Can anybody explain me? And all these UN soldiers who are maybe still at the demarcation line, I don't know exactly how many there are still, you know, get them to whatever, there's other missions, yeah. You know, we don't need the rest of the world to fix our European internal family issues. It's not the way this should be. And if now our foreign representative, Mr. Borrell, is going to Cyprus this week and says he's very happy that the UN takes care, so I'm not interested. I mean, that's a totally ridiculous position to take. Yeah? This is for us to solve inside our family. The Turks are our strong allies in NATO, and they have been left alone a little bit in a difficult region. But we are not the Greek Union of Foreign Policy or the Cypriot Union of Foreign Policy. We have to see it from the European perspective, from the NATO alliance perspective. And obviously Cyprus must be in NATO. There is no doubt about it. And I think this attractive offer is very positive. Additionally, also the British should return the bases to this united federal NATO member and then lease it back to NATO directly. Because the British anyhow have to save money and are a little bit not a global superpower anymore. They don't need to protect the Suez Canal, or they won't project power into the Middle East. But NATO overall together might very well do all this, yeah? And is also in the capacity to do it. So what we need to do, transfer the bases back and then lease it back to NATO and have good positions for a kind of CENTCOM of NATO in assistance and coordination with CENTCOM of the US. Yeah? So that's basically a reasonable plan, I think, on most aspects. And obviously in the EU, every kind of right of the Turkish Cypriots is protected, because in the EU all rights are protected. Yeah? There is no basis for complaints, and if there are complaints, there's kind of mechanisms to regulate them, obviously inside the rule of law mechanisms we have in the European Union. So that's my peace plan for Cyprus, and I hope that we will not go to Geneva but to Brussels. Geneva is a neutral country, a beautiful UN seat, but why to involve the whole world in our family affairs? It was a tragedy what happened in '74, but it was at the Cold War escalation moment of the terrible '70s. It was unfortunate and terrible, everything what happened in this invasion, in the ethnic violence against Turks before, in the military chaos in Greece exported to Cyprus, in all the things which happened. You know, I'm very sorry for the past, and there must be also a historical truth and reconciliation effort. There must be money invested in museums, in memorial culture for the crimes of all sides committed. That's all very important, and that can be part of such a peace agreement. It's kind of a Prespa-style peacemaking by the EU, assisted by the Americans. And I think that's the way to do it. And the Russians can come as tourists, the Chinese as well, but not mess in our European affairs, please. Yeah? And the UN is a very useful organization for many things, but not for Cyprus at this moment. Yeah? We need to be able and be seen to be able to fix the remaining issues in the Balkans, in Southeastern Europe, the East Med, and in in the Eastern Europe, and anyhow Eastern Europe, wherever Russia is directly involved, like in Ukraine and Georgia, it's almost impossible to solve anything. I think it is impossible as long as Putin is in power. So why to involve them in Cyprus? Anyhow, they are much too involved in money laundering and offshoring there already. But politically, via the UN, we don't need their consent in the UN Security Council for anything concerning our future member NATO member in Cyprus. And also it is the starting point for a big reset with Turkey. Also the integration of the Balkan countries in the EU and NATO, but also in the Caucasus, to make sure that we have aligning our interests and our policies with Turkey, and hopefully hoping for a more democratic Turkey over time. But by solving some of the foreign policy issues, I think we can achieve a lot. And that's the starting point, settlement for the Cypriot issue. And in 2024, Cyprus in NATO, together with the other 11 countries which are on the waiting list, on my waiting list at least, and from Austria to Sweden to Ukraine to Georgia, I think that makes a lot of sense. And you will see also the moment we are really back and we can settle these things, then there will be also our relation with Turkey will be much better. Because they have been left alone a bit in the Eastern Mediterranean, in a total chaos from Libya to Syria, only facing Russia alone. So they made their own kind of things, and that was not good, obviously. And so to get them back to normality and into closer to the free world, I think this kind of start of a settlement, direct talks with Turkey, about the status and the NATO accession of Cyprus, and immediately now in 2021 already with the Partnership for Peace. That's the opening agreement together with Kosovo in this deal I have already outlined. That's basically the starting point for peace in the East Mediterranean. Yes, and all the partners. Actually, let me make one more statement. There is this format 5+1. The one is the UN, strike it out. 5 is basically the two parts of the island. Good, obviously they must be in this dialogue. But then it's the British, the Greeks and the Turks. And no Germany, no Austria, no EU, no USA. I think such a format is bent to be a disaster. And so if the British want to play the post-imperial colonial power in the Mediterranean, no, so good luck. That is absolutely the road to failure. And without the US we can settle nothing in the East Med. It's the only power projection capacity is the 6th Fleet and all the attached assets. So let's be serious and let's call the US for help, and let's do this whole thing in Brussels, and let's make peace according to our internal mechanisms with the Euro, NATO and the EU. And that's the way to settle once and for all the Cypriot issue peacefully in a real European federation inside the EU, NATO, Euro, and obviously as a federal free Cypriot republic, also with a new flag, with some European symbols like in Bosnia and in Kosovo. The white and the island, fine, but add some blue stars. I think that would be really beautiful. It will be European Cyprus, free federal NATO member, or I think and everything else will absolutely fail, because the moment the Russians and the Chinese and the UN is in, it will definitely not work. And the moment we have not a clear target where to go to, that means to a federal subject inside NATO and the EU and the Euro, we will also fail. And I think that's the way we shouldn't fail, because if we want to be back, like America and also Europe should be also somehow a responsible actor, at least in our region, and then we have to get going. Okay, thanks a lot for peace. Best regards from Vienna.